So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through how we would demonstrate the product on a regular demonstration with a municipality for a pothole type repair scenario. So what we've got is our permanent pothole repair and SCJ. Once we're at the location and we've got everybody ready, the first thing I'll do is just give a very quick introduction on the product. So first of all, what I'll do is just go straight into that and explain to you how it works. So Instamat permanent pothole repair, it's not like regular cold patch. It sets very differently. It actually sets much harder, much more like a hot asphalt product rather than a regular cold patch. And what I'll do at that point is actually pass this sample hook around to the customers so that they can see it's actually set very hard. If you don't have these, they'll either be on the way or please ask us for one. I pass this around because it's an excellent sales tool and it demonstrates very well to the customer before we put the product into the ground that this is a much superior product to regular cold patch products. The product itself is actually activated by air, and that's why it comes in the pail. There are solvents within the formula, and once you take it out of the packaging and compact, are released, and that causes it to harden very much like a hot asphalt product. Along with the solvent release, what you actually also get is a graded aggregate. So this is our pothole grade. The aggregate is all a granite stone, so very hard wearing, durable stone. And you have a 2 mil up to a 6 mil granite stone in there with different percentages of each amount. And what that gives you is, rather than a single stone on stone that leaves a lot of voids and gaps, you get an interlocking of the stone. So the void content of this is below 13%, which means as long as you compact it as per our guidelines, which I'll cover later. So what this means is it can be opened up to traffic instantly with absolutely no delay to traffic. So prior to the application of the pothole repair, what we're going to do is we're going to spray all the vertical edges with the SCJ tack coat and spray. What this will do is help prevent water ingress into the joints and also help create a bond between the new pothole repair and the existing asphalt that's already in place. So from a sales point of view, this is a great little add-on sale. We pretty much push all of our customers with every pallet to take a box of 12 of these and get very little pushback. It adds cents onto every pothole repair, so it's a very small extra cost, and particularly in areas where customers have had previous problems, it's a real little, what we say, belts and braces, extra little bit of guarantee while you're putting the product down. So with regards to preparation prior to application, very little is required and often very little to nothing is done. If, like the spot we've got here, you can see there's a little bit of dirt, a little bit of muck, loose aggregate in particular, we should always try and get it out and brush it away, like so. If the pothole is wet, full of water, puddled, as you can see today, we're actually, we've got a little bit of rain in the air. It's not a problem. Water has no effect whatsoever on the product. It neither needs it or will cause it to fail. If the pothole is very puddled, we would always advise the customers to brush what they can out. But if they can't, it's not a huge deal. The asphalt will actually displace a certain amount of the water anyway. The only thing we're insistent is snow or ice has to come out, because that's going to disappear and the product bonds to that. So we're about to spray all the vertical edges now. What you need to do is just give the product a quick shake. Make sure that the product's mixed correctly. When we spray, it should come out a black colour. If it comes out a brown colour at all, it means it's not mixed correctly and you just need to shake it a little bit more. So what you do, just basically spray all the vertical edges. Now that stays tacky for a good few hours, so there's no huge rush to get that done. You can put that down and then you can start talking about the product with no worry. That's going to be absolutely fine. Okay, so the next part is the product application. What we're going to do first is we're going to get the product out of the pail. So as you will see, there is a tab. You just break the tab, take the lid off, and then what you will see within the pail, there is actually a plastic bag. The plastic bag is there to prevent air getting to the product, which will cause it to harden. So what we do on the demonstration, dump the product out like that, leave it in the bag, that's very important. Push on the side. If it's a little bit stiffer or if it's a little bit colder, you may have to work this slightly. When we've got a hole or patch, keep it in the bag, much easier to work with. Dump it in. What we'll do is we'll now line the pail with the empty bag. So what that means is what we don't use, we can put back in, wrap the bag up, put the lid on, and we have the full amount of the shelf life of the product. Again, something on a demonstration I always like to show customers because it means they get absolutely no waste, which with bag products, you often, once you open it, you've got to use it or it's flying all over the back of a cab or something like this. With this, what you don't use, wrap the bag up, put the lid on, the full amount of the remainder of the shelf life. We'll just place this into the hole. We get this prepped. Let's just get it looking nice, shall we? So with the excess product, we can just drop that back in the bag. A little bit of contamination is not a problem at all. What we'll do, wrap the bag up, prevent as much air from getting back to it. Put the lid on, and that'll be good to use whether it's tomorrow, next week, or the month after. So the product itself compacts by about 50%, which is a little bit more than regular cold patch, and that's because of the gradation of the aggregate. So you have to bear that in mind when you're applying the product. So for example, if you've got a 2-inch deep hole, you need to put it 3 inches high, and that will compact that further inch. So you'll go 3 down to 2, 3 down to 2. If you are in bigger holes than 2 inches, you do want to break that up. You would do no more than 2-inch lifts at a time. So compaction is very important on the product for 2 reasons. One, to get the interlocking of the stone to avoid any sinking and dipping, but it also accelerates the solvent release, which means it's going to harden quicker. With regards to compaction tools, my preferred method is always mechanical, and I will always say this to my customers. Reason being, it's consistent with whoever's using it. Other options, and more commonly used options, especially for potholes, are vehicle tyres. Not a problem at all. And then what we're going to use today is hand compaction. So with regards to the compaction, what we ask all of our customers to aim for a bit of a benchmark for their guys, is 6 complete passes. So you're going to hit the whole area 6 times. If that's a vehicle tyre, that's backwards and forwards 3 times, that's your 6 passes. If it's mechanical or a hand tool like this, we're looking to hit the whole area 6 times, and that's an absolute minimum. Good. So once your compaction's finished and you have your 6 complete passes, you'll take a visual. You can normally feel underhand when you're using a manual tool that it's well compacted. What you're looking for is the stone to be closing in and pushed in. And if you start chipping away and exposing the granite like you see here, you know that the product's refusing and you've given it enough compaction. 6 is a minimum. If you've done the 6 and you think it requires a bit more, not a problem. You cannot over compact the product. It loves compaction. So if you want to give it some more, that's great. What you want to leave it with though is a slight hump. There will be settlement and there will be secondary compaction from vehicles that are going to push this down a little bit further. So if you walk away with it flush to the rest of the surface, there's a chance it may end up dipping, and then all you've got is a smaller version of what you came to repair. By leaving it slightly proud of the surface, no more than 1/4 of an inch, if you do get any settlement or further compaction, you're still going to have something that's not going to sink or be below. So that's it. Repair's done. This can be opened straight up to traffic. What I'm just going to do now is a quick summary of what we've been over. With regards to the pothole repair, it's often used alongside a regular cold patch product and not instead of. We say the product is particularly effective, including cost effective, 3 to 4 main areas. The first and most consistent and popular is repeat offenders. Potholes that the customers are just going back to and back to and back to. While there is a bit more cost to this product, 2 guys in a truck going back to the same repair more than 2 or 3 times has cost you a hell of a lot more than 1 or 2 buckets of our product. So next, it's out of hours emergency work. The pails lend themselves very well to being left in a truck, so guys can go straight out to an emergency job, do the repair and have it done, and it'll be a permanent fix. They won't have to worry about coming back to that tomorrow to do a more permanent repair. Next are in the middle of city centres, town centres, very highly trafficked areas which are sensitive, and closing the road down can be a big pain. So you want to get in once, get it fixed and not come back. Our product lends itself greatly to that sort of application. And the last is when you're traveling long distances, when you've got miles and miles to travel, and you've only got maybe 1 or 2 potholes, you don't want to have to come back, because again, 2 guys in a truck traveling 50-60 miles to repair 1 or 2 holes is a big cost. It's much cheaper to go back once with our product and have it complete and done than make several trips with a cheaper cold asphalt product. So as well as potholes, the product's also used for small utility cuts, around manholes and catch basins, and ramping on sidewalk bays or driveways. So this is your demonstration kit, everything that you'll need for a successful demo. If you have any further questions or anything arises during meetings and demonstrations, please feel free to contact us. Also, if you would like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Daily Pavement Products, that we have loads of great content on there, helpful videos and tips, really does help you out. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and LinkedIn to follow us for all our latest updates and information.